It's my pleasure to invite everyone for this lecture series. Today is our last lecture in our lecture series. So during this lecture, I invite everyone to please write your name and email address for the purpose of sending the feedback form. So please do favor for us, and thanks for your cooperation, and try to extend your support for future. Also, actually, as we are planning for workshop also, workshop in anthropological theories. So I am expecting for good outcome. So now I will leave the chair for Professor S.B. Roy. Please, Professor, take the chair. Please, I am welcoming you to deliver a wonderful lecture. Thank you.
Just 1 minute.
Take, sir. Take, sir. Good morning, Professor Chalabramal, sir. Chalabramal, sir, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Hello. Yes, sir. Please start.
Can I start now? Can you hear me?
Please. Yes, sir. Everyone hearing you, sir.
All the participants have arrived, or we should wait for some minute?
They will join you, sir. They will join you. Please start, because it's already 11:11.
Okay. So we
please,
should start.
Please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, friends. First of all, I thank Aspire for providing this a wonderful opportunity to share with the anthropologists, both teacher, scholar, student, and maybe some allied science also. And I will also be sharing with some of my colleagues who are not anthropologists but working in the field of development. Maybe they will join. I don't know how many of you have joined. Let me start what I'm saying. Can you see my PPT slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is written Anthropological Approaches for Understanding the Consequences of Coronavirus and Strategy for its Mitigation. Can you see the PPT? Yeah. Friends, whenever you talk of anthropological approaches, first of all, we'd like to know, what do we mean by anthropological approaches? What do you mean by anthropological approaches? Slide. Second slide. Here, you see, to begin with, like any other science, the French philosopher Auguste Comte has mentioned that whatever we see in the nature, the tree, the forest, the animal, the river growing, the man going for food collection, whatever we see the natural phenomenon, we absorb it and try to relate why this happens. Use the logic the reasoning behind it, what are the causes for such phenomenon, and the developed body of knowledge. The same is applied for anthropology also, as August quote. He is also considered one of the founder of the formal doctrine of sociology, where he used the word positivism. So the positivism is finding what is happening in the nature, how this is working, what are the causes, and develop body of knowledge through interpretation. Like anthropologists also, they watch the natural phenomenon and work with that. So how is the physics, the chemistry, anthropology is different? Normally, when we're studying in the university, colleges, we were told anthropology is the study of man. The doctor also study of man. Human ecologist also study of man. Sociologist also study of man. How is this anthropology different? Then we used to call, oh, it is holistic study. What do you mean by holistic study? Here, like each discipline has some uniqueness. In health, Ayurvedic, they have some uniqueness which is different from the allopathic. Allopathic is different from the homeopathic. Even the economists, they are very clear that in their study, it includes production of some scarce resources, management of scarce resources in economics, production, distribution, consumption. Sociologists say, we study the human relation, structure and functioning. So how do anthropologists define the uniqueness of their subject? This has been very, very important. Before I share anthropological approaches for understanding the consequences of corona, a doctor may ask how you are different. A sociologist study coronavirus may ask anthropologists, how is your study different from it? Epidemiologist may ask how anthropological study is different from epidemiologist. So we have to be very clear what are the anthropological differences. I begin with Malinowski. Malinowski has mentioned very clearly that human first work for meeting their physiological biological needs. That means food first. Of the biological need, there is a food, reproduction, shelter, and in order to procure the food from the forest, from the agriculture, or from the industry, human develops certain norms, rules and regulations for food production, human social institution, what will the process of reproduction, how the shelter will be made. So the human develop their own kind of institutions. Radcliffe Brown says, no. Human works for social cause also. So there are social institutions for different reasons. It is not only for the biological need. So what we understand that anthropology is understanding, study of how humans meet their biological need, and also what are the social processes for which we develop understanding, relationship, and institution. Normally, sociologists do not study the biological process. Economists do not understand the biological inheritance process, evolution, the variation. So this is how anthropology is different from other. Another important thing Malinowski what has mentioned, which is again the uniqueness of anthropology, participatory observation. He says a wonderful way. You know what did he say? We have to have participatory observation. You know why? Because normally when you watch people, you see what they're doing. But if you do not, if an anthropologist is not participating in the field, he's just asking question and filling up the schedule or conducting interview, the anthropologist may not get the correct answer. Malinowski has said a very beautiful sentence. You know, the norms and action, what people say, what they are doing, and what they are actually doing is not same. What I say, what I am doing, and what I am actually doing is not same. So anthropologists have to watch, observe the behavior of the human. Now, here it comes, anthropological understand the two things, the social behavior and the culture. Now, understanding a particular culture, it is very, very important on the contemporary side of the culture. Now, this is the fundamental, what anthropological study is the biological, social, and in the behavior, there are two. Rational, scientific behavior, what they call, and there are also some rituals, religious behavior, which human society follow. They do not find the scientific rationale behind it, but they will follow it, and that's the culture. Now, coming to the coronavirus. So, as an anthropologist, I consider understanding coronavirus is first the biological process. So, what I am saying that corona virus is a biological disease. It causes respiratory problem. And such biological consequences on the body, the biological impact will be, I say the biological impact on the human body will be fever, maybe cough, fatigue, shortness of the breath, problem in breathing, loss of smell. It may cause pneumonia and other problem. So until there is a vaccination, this antiviral treatment is not there today on the 8th May. What we see that social behavior will be influenced with the biological process. I repeat, as an anthropology, understanding coronavirus as a virus that causes impact in the human body is one aspect. Another aspect that until there is no vaccination, no curative, so we have to have preventive. So understanding corona and preventive measure. This preventive measure, as we all know, hand washing, maintaining distance, wearing mask, self-isolation, and also restriction on travel, maybe as a policy lockdown, workplace hazards are there. So there will be some social behavioral change. What I understand as an anthropologist, that anthropologists will study the biological implication on the body and the social behavior, I repeat, the social behavior as preventive measures. So what hand washing, social distance maintaining, wearing face mask, self-isolation, this should become slowly a norm. It may appear today wearing mask as a compelling behavior. But once it becomes a culture, wearing mask will be fashion. Maintaining social distance will be a fashion. Hand washing regularly will become a ritual. Preventive measures, all this, what is required today is a new behavior. I say the new behavior has to be a part of the culture. Now, it appears a boring that frequently we have to wash your hand. It will become uneasy to wear mask all the time. It will become very awkward. A friend is coming and you have to maintain distance, because socially we receive warmly, we hug people, we close people, we shake hand with the people, even we touch the feet in order to show respect. So all these behavioral change, what is expected, has to be a part of culture. Now, one very interesting thing I will say here, that here for changing culture, just informing people that what is good for you will not change the culture. I repeat this portion of mine, telling people that wash your hand frequently for 20 seconds, maintain physical distance, I call it physical distance, wear mask, have self-isolation. These 4-5 new behavior will not be followed by everyone. You must be seeing how often police has to come on the road. So what I wanted to share here, that just by telling people to change the behavior, it will not change. I give an example. You see, I would like to draw attention over here. You see, there is a cigarette pack, and on the cigarette pack, it is written, smoking is injurious to health. Do you think that after reading on the cigarette pack or the caution, no smoking, people have given up smoking? It is good for them. It's good for their health. I'll give you another example. You know, in most part of the country, there's a rule, government rule and policy guideline, that while you are driving on motorbike, you have to wear helmet. Now, do you think that after announcement making rule, people have been wearing helmet every day? Do you see that? No. So by informing that smoking is injurious to health, or by informing or making a law that wear the helmet while you are mobile, people have not changed the behavior. So what I wanted to share here, that by informing people the preventive measure, washing hand, maintaining distance, wearing mask, isolation, these are preventive behavior, culture has to be brought. So by informing people, not going to be changed. But I'll give you another example. While people follow the cultural behavior, you know, when we go to the temple, we put off our shoes outside temple. Is there any government law or any incentive? No, but people follow it. Why? Because it is social religious norm. When there's a marriage, people follow strictly the marriage rituals, and for that there is no any government rule for that, but people do follow it. Why? The reason, because they take pride in following the government norm. So here again, what I say, that it has to come under the, not only the law, but it has to come under the social norm. Now, how new behavior, how new social norms are prepared? We had working on this behavioral change. Anthropology, sociologists, economists are working on the behavioral change. I have worked for 4 years in one of the projects of European Union of the changing behavior, particularly for the climate change, for the tribal. Now I will share with you how the behavior is changed, what is required. That too, I will share with you in the tribal. In the context of Corona, how the behavior can be changed with the tribal in order to have a good health and defending with the coronavirus. You know, in India, there are 75 particularly vulnerable tribal group, PVTG. They're primitive tribe. We used to call them primitive tribe. And these primitive tribes are having a common feature, these 75. You know, whom do we call primitive tribe? Like Lodha, Chenchu, Birhor, Kamar, and there are other Joang. They are the primitive tribe. So the primitive tribe are more vulnerable. I repeat, primitive tribe are more vulnerable against corona. So let us understand what is the current situation of the primitive tribe and what measures can be taken. So my discussion will be what is the situation of the primitive tribe, what can be measured to safeguard against coronavirus, the anthropological approaches, and do the anthropologists have any experience of changing behavior with the tribe for healthy habits, behavioral change? Can anthropologists do that? I will share with you. Here, let us understand the first problem. The primitive tribe suffer from the malnutrition. And one of the very, very important things fighting against corona, you must be knowing that it comes. We have to improve our biological immunity, improvement of immunity. And unless immunity is improved, it is difficult to fight against corona. And if you suffer from malnutrition, can't expect better immunity. So at one end, there is lack of food, malnutrition, and another way, we find degradation of the forest. For the tribal, the forest is the natural habitat. So if food is not there, malnutrition, if forest is getting degraded, what is the source of livelihood? Just selling some leaves. Now, here we have been studying about the degradation of forest which causes the climate change. And we studied here, and a discussion was done in Germany and other country. I can show you the picture that how the project we have started, climate change eroded phenology. Now, at one side, malnutrition, forest degradation, problem of climate change, and on the top comes corona. You can understand the problem. It was severe before corona comes. Now it becomes double danger for the primitive tribe and other tribe. So what can be done? And what we are thinking, is it possible to change? I call it corona pandemic as biosocial trauma. It's a trauma. Why biosocial? Because biological change in the body and social ritual requirement for preventive health care. So there is a biosocial change. Normally, any medical man may talk of the biological issue, but not the social. As an anthropologist, I have to understand the biological status, and we have to make compatible social institution, change of social behavior. Now, is it possible to have a social behavioral change? We studied in different fields, tribal, for behavior change, social change, improvement of the nutrition, conservation of forests, improve immunity. Unless this is done, we can't protect tribal against coronavirus. Now, let me come back. In the same district, as an anthropologist, you must have seen, in the same district, there is degradation, but there's good forest also in the same district. So how there's a degradation and good forest also? So as an anthropologist, same tribal, I say same tribe, same district, one village having degraded forest, another village by women is a well conserved forest. Is it not astonishing? Then as an anthropologist, we have to study what are the factors which is causing degradation in one village and other conservation. And unless we know the process of change, we cannot. So here we have to have cultural change and protection. And in the cultural change, we know we have to understand what is culture. Again, I will refer as an anthropologist, Tyler definition of culture. I think all the anthropologists know about it. Mostly we talk on the knowledge, belief, arts, which from one generation to another. But I would like to emphasize here, as an anthropologist, I don't know, you must be working on that. The last two words, capabilities and habits. I repeat, in the Tyler definition, the word capabilities and habits. If these two are acquired by the community, that means what competency knowledge it has got, not only knowing, but as a practice, it is done, then only we can change. So wherever we want to change, we have to increase the capabilities of the community by training, capacity building, transfer of technology. But just by training it is not enough. We have to change the behavior. You have to change the habit. Otherwise, knowledge will be there that smoking is injurious to health, but keep on smoking. So by training is not enough. We have to that. Now, but does it culture change? The Fraser have mentioned, yes, material culture will change. So through acculturation, we can go there. Now, here, here I will share with you how quickly we have been doing on the changes. I will share with you how we did IBRAD. If we want to change any landscape, we have to change the forest staff government officials. I repeat here, another important point what I understand. That as an anthropologist, you may develop model approaches for tribal development, for improvement of the immunity against coronavirus. You may develop nutritious process. So you may develop but ultimately it has to be applied by the forest staff or agriculture staff or the rural development or the tribal development. Anthropologists cannot go hundreds and thousands of villages. So we have to change. Now is another challenge by anthropologists. Can we train? Yes, we have started training in different, and this is the method of Panchtattva. Here, second step was identification of some of the communities organizers and making them a training on the change of behavior. And this knowledge change of behavior, we design culture change. And there were Prashikshan Shivir, training hut were prepared, because once you make the training hut, it will be continuous training, not one-time meeting. So Prashikshan Shivir has been another step. After Prashikshan Shivir, then we start the training, building knowledge on the biological process, on the health and preventive. Once you train them, but unless they are provided with some seed of organic, training will not help. And they will be also help in understanding the problem. Such success story